Okay, let's do this. Am I out of practice? Who even knows? Guys, it's been a minute. Let me tell you what happened. I guess it's been a couple of weeks now. A couple of weeks I told you guys I was starting this book, MunMun by Jesse Andrews. And I did start and finish that book. But what happened was I had a lot of stuff going on last week, and then I got very, very sick, the remains of which you can still sort of hear in my voice. And Sunday, when I was meant to record and edit this video, I literally slept for 14 hours, and I didn't do that. So yeah, let's get into it. I read this week Jesse Andrews MunMun. This book came out I want to say April 3rd, April 4th, sometime around there. I'm not going to get into anything spoilery for this just because it literally just came out like a week ago. I want people to read it and see for themselves how great this book is, because it is really something special. I didn't script this video at all, so I'm just gonna kind of be talking on the fly and hopefully something coherent comes out of it. But I first of all want to say that I've really enjoyed this book. I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. I guess I should talk about what it's about. In an alternate reality, a lot like our world, every person's physical size is directly proportional to their wealth or how much MunMun they have. The poorest of the poor are the size of rats, and the billionaires are the size of skyscrapers. Warner and his sister Prayer are destitute and tiny. Their size is not just demeaning, but dangerous. Day and night, they face mortal dangers that bigger, richer people don't ever have to think about, from being mauled by cats to their house getting stepped on. They know their only hope is to scale up, but how can two little poors survive in a world built against them? So I think this is what the final cover ends up looking like, if not something similar. It's got these 4 symbols on here. I don't know what they mean. I mean, this is obviously money. I don't know what these symbols, I think this might be yen. Are these different forms of money in different countries maybe? Maybe that's what it is, and it all equals MunMun. I just figured that out right now. I think that's what it is. So like the back of the book says, Warner and his sister Prayer are what they call little poors, and they go off on an adventure essentially to try to scale up, to make their life better so that they can survive in the world, because being a little poor is, like it said on the back of the book, it's dangerous. There's a scale on the inside. I thought this scale size was so interesting, because if you've ever seen that distribution of wealth in the US chart, it's literally this. I mean, there's different levels, obviously. It's more of a, I guess, even distribution on this scale, but that's only because they're trying to show each level of scale. So that's what this reminded me of when I first saw it, was the distribution of wealth chart. The writing style of this book is so interesting. Little poors are less educated. Because they're poor and they're small, things aren't built for them. So they're generally illiterate. They don't generally know how to read or write. They don't really know how to take social cues, because most of their social interactions are with other little poors. I've noticed that when little poors are talking for a lot of things, sometimes the writing style, the way that Jesse Andrews writes them, is some of their words will run together. Abbreviations are always spelled out. So etc., the way that Warner says it and the other little poors say it is etc. Like it's spelled et and then set and then cetera. Like all little abbreviations are spelled out, because Warner has never seen an abbreviation before, so he spells them out when he's talking. So another big aspect of this book is that there's life and death world and dream world. In dream world, everyone is the same scale, and because they're all the same scale, you can't really tell who's big, rich, who's little, poor. And I think he says that's where little poors love to be the most. Warner specifically has really strong dream powers, I guess is what they would be. In this world, you would call it lucid dreaming. So he can control his dreams. And most people can't do it. What else can I say about this book without being spoilery? So much happens in this book that it's really hard to even kind of talk about it spoiler free. I think it's definitely worth a read. It's one of the more interesting, like, satirical, dystopian type fantasy books that I've read in the past few years. And honestly, I think I might reread it. It's very well written. The characters feel real to you even though they're in this weird, strange world. Something that I talked about on my Instagram. It's interesting to be reading a book and learn new things about the universe that it exists in while you're reading it. I was probably like over halfway into the book and I learned something new, like some new rule about how this universe worked. And most of the time when you're reading a book, the rules of the universe are established fairly quickly because you have to establish a world pretty quickly so that the reader can be in the world and immerse themselves. These are the rules, these are not the rules. But I was like over halfway into the book and something new happened and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that as a thing that could possibly be allowed. And my best friend pointed out that that's kind of how life is, which is totally true, but it's not generally what you get when you're reading a book. So I just thought that was interesting. The ending is something. I think that that's where the like star, half a star is missing for me, is the ending is well written and like good, but really unsatisfying. Like it just feels like there is more story to be told and that I'm missing it. Jesse Andrews is a really good writer and I really did super enjoy this book. I liked it. I think that's the moral of the story, is that I enjoyed the book. I'm wondering if he'll write a sequel to this. I feel like probably not, based on what I know, but I wouldn't be opposed to a sequel, Jesse Andrews. If you want to write more, please do that. Please write more. I would read a lot of these books. I bet you can hear that, can't you? Oh, there's no way you can't hear that. Great, thank you. All right, so I don't know what I'm reading next. I don't have a book. I haven't been in my office at all this week. So like I said, and I think in my last video, all of the books are in my office. I think I'm gonna try and bring them home because they gotta be here. I can't keep recording these videos and not having a next book in mind. So I don't know what I'm gonna read. It'll be a big mystery for you and for me. I have to figure it out when I go into my office on Monday. But I will have something. I will have a video next week. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Jesse Andrews for MunMun. I can't wait to see how it does. I really did enjoy it, and I think that it's I think it's an important book, and I absolutely recommend that you read it. I will see you next week. Okay, bye.